everyone. My name is Anna Fontalar, and I'm fourth year. And
hi, I'm Lena. I'm a third year in the college.
Ella Wong, fourth year in the college.
Hi, my name is Corey Sutherland, and I'm a fourth year in college.
And our JPC project is called Examining How a Local Student-Run Organization is Bridging the Gap. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the background of our project. The four of us really were interested, when we were conceptualizing a JPC sort of proposal, we were interested in issues of immigration and refugee resettlement. We'd been reading a lot about sort of refugees in Charlottesville and the changing sort of demographics that have been happening in recent years. And the IRC, which is the International Rescue Committee, has been resettling about 200 refugees into the Charlottesville community every year. So there is a significant population in the Charlottesville community. And we really wanted to look at the ways in which services were provided to the refugee populations and whether or not those services were really meeting the needs of these refugee families in a sort of tangible and sustainable way. So we did that through the lens of one of our UVA affiliated organizations called Madison House, which, you know, I'm guessing most of you guys know where it is. It's located on Rugby Road. It was established in 1975, so it's been for decades a sort of outlet for student service at the university. And we particularly were looking through the program Bridging the Gap, which works to pair student mentors, UVA student mentors, with refugee children, mentees who are in the process of resettling in the Charlottesville community. So that's sort of a little bit about the background in our partner organization, Madison House.
So when we first conceived this project, we approached different organizations that provide social services to the refugee community in Charlottesville. And due to the influx of students who wanted to volunteer or wanted to do research there and also their limited resources, we kind of had to, they weren't exactly very receptive to us, and so we kind of had to look at that sort of interaction between UVA and Charlottesville community, and we decided to put our focus on a student-run program that interacts with local Charlottesville refugee population. And so there were some questions that we had, which were main questions of research, is to what extent does Bridging a Gap serve the needs of their target community, and what makes the process of refugee resettlement at small college towns successful, especially in terms of this program. And is there a way to implement a sort of sustainable self-examination for these students who run these volunteer programs that serve the local community? And this is a picture of mentors and mentees at the program. And the problem that, as we see it, so we know that even within UVA, there are actually a lot of resettled refugees who work in dining halls or in the buildings that we are in, and so it's sort of a more detached interaction that we have with them, and so we wanted to look at how students engage with refugee population in Charlottesville in a different sort of way, which is through a service program. And we wanted to sort of gain a better understanding of how UVA connects with their local community.
Our original approach was the desire to use a multifaceted approach, including focus groups, personal interviews, shadowing, as well as a community dinner. However, while we were applying to IRB and talking to program directors and getting their advice, we came across a lot of limitations. Within the IRB process, we realized that we could not interview the children's subjects because of IRB protocol. We also understood that there was a huge language barrier between refugee families as well as us. And then lastly, with the advice of the program directors, we realized that the scheduling of parents was a conflict as well. This resulted in us realizing that we could only do shadowing, the mentors and mentees, through the consent of the volunteers. And so what we ended up doing was shadowing the mentors and mentees on a bi-weekly basis, watching their weekly activities, which included soccer games, going to the mentor's house, watching them do arts and craft, baking, as well as other Bridging the Gap hosted events.
So through the observation process, our group collected a variety of trends. Luckily, at the same time, the program directors were also thinking about and pursuing restructuring throughout their entire process. So we were able to restructure our own observations based on the demands and the needs of our community partners. So the first of which is that we noticed an underutilization of available educational opportunities. We found that the Bridging the Gap mentors did a fantastic job in building a social atmosphere with their mentees, spending multiple hours with them every week, and also just providing a space where they could really build a strong relationship for mentoring. However, Bridging the Gap was founded on the belief that UVA students could utilize their own educational opportunities to help alleviate some of the challenges that refugee students faced when they entered and enrolled in American public schools. Based on research and observations that were conducted by the Curry School, they found that many of the public schools here, especially in Charlottesville, lack resources other than ESL programs and even anything beyond counseling to really address the specific needs of the refugee students. And so we concluded that the mentors really have this fantastic opportunity to spend one-on-one engagement time to really build a sophisticated level of academic achievement, because UVA students represented very motivated students who have also gone through school and really can appreciate the value of education. The second general trend that we found was the limitation in our own approach. We realized that when we wanted to interact with many of the families, many of the students, many of the mentors, we ourselves came upon many linguistic barriers, as Corey mentioned, and also just couldn't spend as much time building the relationships that were necessary with the mentors and the families. And so we thought, well, if we're entering this program, which ended up being pretty much a year long, and we weren't able to really leave with the relationships that were necessary to really cultivate a strong engagement, what types of challenges are new students facing when they're entering in this program? Is there adequate training in place to help alleviate some of the cultural barriers and help really raise the awareness of students who are interested in engaging with the refugee population? And so we entered in some dialogue with the program directors to see if we could really open those communication barriers and really encourage students to learn from the mentors, not only the mentees from the mentors. And the third observation that we came upon was that this was one of the first self-examination processes that had really been introduced to Madison House, specifically to Bridging the Gap. And so our group wanted to find out ways that we could really encourage a culture where many of the student organizations could strengthen their own self-examination process. We were able to offer a third-party perspective, but we also found it to be extremely valuable for those involved within the program, meaning the mentors, the mentees, the families, the administrators within Madison House, to really offer a voice that we didn't necessarily provide just because we weren't directly engaged in that process. And so after speaking with our community partner, we hoped to encourage a system where many of those involved can also have a voice in improving the effectiveness of the services that are provided for both of the parties. And so overall, we felt like our engagement with our community partners was very dynamic. We were able to really contribute to each other's understanding and process and thinking about how we wanted to improve the process for the refugee students and mentors for the future. So thank you very much to the JPC program for giving us the opportunity to really conduct this research, and to our advisor, Professor Swap, and to our graduate advisor, Ethan. So thank you, everyone.